Hello, my name is David, and this is the third episode of the Learning Web Design Zero Limit series. Now, in this episode, we're going to be going over some more HTML, some of the necessities and basics that you will still need other than what we previously covered. And there are around 4 really important things that we haven't talked about in HTML that, carrying into the next episode, are going to be incredibly important to CSS. And these things include images. We haven't inserted images before. We haven't created tables, or we haven't, even discussed the idea of a section or a div. And in this episode, we're going to be going over specifically how to do these things, how to insert them into your website. And in the next episode, we're going to be incorporating many of these aspects, specifically sections and divs, with CSS and how to styling our website. So let's say the first thing we want to do for our website, let's add an image on our website. Now, where should we add it? Well, I think right over here above our name, which is right now in bold. Let's place it right over here. And how do we do that? Well, we're gonna go to Atom, and we're gonna type in img, and the fill-in is gonna show up. I'm gonna click enter, and here we are. The first thing that's gonna be very apparent to you is that there are these source or src here and alt with equals, parentheses, and these are what we call attributes. They allow us to give information to our tag. Now, in this case, it's also very apparent that the image tag does not have to be closed off. It doesn't have a separate tag like this. It just doesn't exist. For images, it's just one tag, which makes it very convenient for us, but it's different and it's unique in that way. So we got to remember that we don't need to close this tag. Now, let's go to the source here. What does src mean? This is going to be where our image, the image file itself, is located in our folder over here. So we're going to say, okay, we're going to put an image here, and we're going to put the name into the source, saying this is our image. Now, what is the alt? This one's a little bit different. If, for any reason, the image cannot load up, for example, let's say it does not find the image in your folder from this source, then it's going to display the message that you put in alt. So let's go and source, right? I'm gonna go real quick, and I'm gonna save an image here into this folder. So you go to Google, you find your image. I'm actually gonna do a penguin image over here, just because, and I'm gonna put it right over above my name. I'm gonna save it to my folder here. Save image as, of course. And we'll call the penguin.jpg. There you go. We save into the same folder that we have our index.html. And now we have to place this name into the source so that the image tag knows what our image even is. Penguin.jpg. So now the website knows, okay, that is my image. Now for the alt tag, we're going to put something. This is let's just say image of a penguin. So let's go. We save our file. We're going to go here. Let's see if we can open it up. What would be the best way to open this? Let's copy the full path. Go in Chrome and Control V into Chrome. And there we go. Now we have this over here. It's not very organized. It's very big compared to our text, but there you go. We know how to insert images, and later we're able to manipulate these images in different ways. Now, after the images, and after we put this big image here, why don't we learn how to use a table? Now, a table is actually very simple. Actually, let me rephrase this. It's complicated, yes, but once you get the hang of it, it's actually very useful, and it doesn't become, the code is no longer a mess, because I understand that when people first look at HTML, when it's like this, it can be very daunting because there's so much on the screen. Once you understand exactly what you're looking at with a table, it's not too bad. So let's go under our our little ordered list here, our unordered list. We're gonna make and put the tag table. Now, like any other tag, well, except for the image tag, this one's gonna have a closing. And let's say we want to have a table row, right? A row of our table, right? The first row. We're gonna go tr, and that's gonna create the first row. What do we want to put in our first row? Well, let's try and talk about in our table what things are we good at? Maybe hobbies that we have that we want to show our skills. So let's say for our table row, we're gonna put programming. That might be a skill you have, or let's say web design. That might be another skill. Now this is going to look slightly off to what we want, but we're going to save it and we're going to reload our page and see what shows up. Programming web design. It doesn't really look like a table. Now why is that? Well, it's only a row, right? And the row has two things, and so it's not organized as in there are columns and rows, and so we're going to add on to this and see what we can do. Instead, let's say we do in this top row, right, where we're going to have, let's say the names of the columns, right? Like an Excel sheet, we're going to have our columns here, and we're going to call them names. Let's do hobbies, and then we're going to say experience. And for the experience, we're going to probably say, how much out of 5 are we familiar and comfortable with doing this. And I'm going to, for a final touch, for the table, we can actually have a table header. So it says this is a header of our table. And we're going to put that hobbies in there, and we're going to create another table header, and we're going to put this in here. What does that mean? Well, if we reload our page, after we save, Control S, go over here. Oh, look, now they're in bold. Now they're slightly different in style, and now we can start listing what we want. So we just finished adding our first row. We have to make sure we add a second row. So right outside this table row, we have to add a second row. Table row. Now we want to add, what in this row do we want? Under our hobbies, for the first thing in this row, let's put, we have to make sure before we put anything, this is going to be a piece of data in the table. Meaning it's going to be an entry, it's going to be something you're writing in the table, so we have to make sure it's called table data. So let's call it TD. And here in TD, we're going to put, what are some hobbies? Well, programming, like we've said before. And what is the second thing in this table row? Well, let's look back. If this is the first row, and we put hobbies and then experience, it's going to be programming, and then we're going to put something under experience. Well, how experienced are we at programming? Well, I'm going to put, let's say, 4 out of 5. I'm just going to add another table data and put 4 out of 5. Let's save. Go back over here. And there we go. We have the first row, which is going to be our headers, what each column represents. And then we're going to end this row, so /table row. We're adding a second table row. The first thing we add in the table data, is going to be programming. That's our first hobby. And the second piece of data on our table is going to be the experience we have. So just like our code over here, we did the first table row. We put our headers. We have the second table row, and this time we have to do the hobby, which is programming, and then our experience, which is the second thing. And we're going to just repeat that process again. We're going to go make another table row. We're going to put another table data here, and we're going to say, well, what's another, kind of hobby we have. Well, let's say web design. And we're going to add another data table. And we're going to put experience. Let's say 5 out of 5. We save this again. We go back to our website, make sure we refresh, and there we go. We have this nice little, table we have here. Now, for the last thing we're going to do, I want to show you guys what is a section and what is a div. Now, right now, they're not entirely important, but in the next lecture, when we're going to be styling certain sections of our website, we want to be able to say we want to style this section a specific way, and we want to we're going to style a different section of the website a different way. So how do we do this? Well, we have to make sure we cut our website to different sections and divisions, which is what div stands for. Let's go over here, and I think a good example is seeing it in practice. Okay, it's not a very complicated tag, but it is, just to see it in practice, is best. So ZeroLimitLearning.com is the website of Zero Limit that I created. Now, one of the most apparent things on this website is the sections. Right? We have this really black section, we have the white section, the black section, the white section. These are different sections that we have. Within these sections, we might have different divs. For example, this div right here holds our image, and this one holds the text in this section. Each of these is a different div. We have 1, 2, and 3 right over here. 1, 2, 3. So that is what a section does. It divides your website so that later you can style it how you want. How do we create a div then, or a section? Well, let's go back to our code and let's see where we can divide our different sections. What about right over here? We'll call it section, and because it's going to enclose, let's say, including the image, let's call this introduction, right? We're introducing ourselves. Here we might have a picture of ourselves, right, in this website. So we're going to grab this section, and we're going to put here /section. We're going to end that section off. And all of this is going into this section. And we can add an ID, a class, which is later on, which will help us distinguish and say this section is going to be called whatever. Now let's add another section, right? Let's add another section over here, which shows what we like and what our hobbies and experiences are. We're going to grab the bottom tag. We're going to copy it, make some space, and then put it where this ends. So all the way at the end of this table. And there we go. Now we have to make sure, just for visual sakes, let me scroll out so you can see. We want to make sure this is indented properly. So let's make sure. Is it? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, the indentation is not something that, is going to mess up your code. It just makes your code more readable, especially if you're new. You want to make sure that, okay, it lines up so that this section goes with that. And yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Oh, that's the problem. Okay, no, I was looking at this wondering what was the problem. See, I made a mistake here. No, I think I'm going crazy here. I thought the section was inside the body. Okay, we're making sure. An easy mistake to make is putting this section outside of the body, and then, it messes up all your code. Your sections, depending on where they are, right? If your sections are in the body, they're in the body. A section cannot, hold a body. That doesn't make any sense. You have your head, your body on the outside, and then your sections are either inside the body or sometimes even inside a footer, which is another tag that you can make. So here we are. We have our sections, this one which has our experiences and what we like to do, and then this one is our introduction section. So what about a div? Well, a div is a an even smaller section of your website. So let's say this table that we had and this list that we have we'll make it its own div. We'll grab everything that's in here and we're going to put it inside this div. And for this table, we're going to put that into another div. So we'll create a div, copy all the table into the last table, and put it in here. And we got to make sure we find what we did. And it's the div. Yeah, we can cut this out. Alright, so let's go over our code really quick so that we make sure we're not getting confused. We have the first section of our code, which is our introduction. We're saying it's my website. We're saying we're putting our image, maybe of us, and then we're putting our name. In the second section, we have our interests. Inside that section, we have two different divisions, two different smaller sections, so to say. The first one is a list of things that we like, and then the second is a table of our experiences and hobbies. Now, if we go back to our website that we have, so we can go, we copy full path, we put that into Chrome. We see that nothing visually has changed. What we did though was restructure our code to make it more readable, and then later, let me just make sure I save it just to show you that really nothing changed. Later, we can actually, change each section individually. So for example, like I did in this website, you can make one section black, one section white. You can add different images or maybe even change the text of a certain section. It's all up to you that you can control. I want to thank you guys for watching and continuing this video series on web design. Sorry this video is a little long, almost 20 minutes. Next time I'll try to cut it down, be more, concise. Again, thank you for watching, and hopefully you enjoy.